Stress, anxiety, and panic attacks are very common terms these days. We all face it at some point of time in our daily lifestyle. One another term which is very popular in today's world is mindfulness. To talk about all of these things and to guide us and just give us some general tips, we have someone very special with us today. She is Anindita Roy. She has a vast experience of counseling school kids till adults. Please welcome Anindita Roy. Welcome, Anindita. Thank you so much for coming to my house and be a guest on my channel.
Thank you so much, Tanmay. I feel privileged today that you called me as a guest to interview and talk about a very pertinent topic.
Yeah. How have you been doing? Because I will try not to bombard you with a lot of questions and keep the discussion general. So I hope you are ready for this.
Oh, absolutely.
I think you must be facing these kind of questions every day.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I'm all ready, all set.
Great. So before I ask you to reduce my stress and make me mindful, I would like to know what exactly is the work of a mental health professional.
Okay. So Tanmay, when you are asking me that what is the work of mental health professional, can you tell me briefly? Let's turn the tables. Can you tell me who is a mental health professional according to you? What?
Someone who can read my mind.
Yeah.
Wrong answer.
When you introduce yourself as a psychologist, people will just walk up to you and say that, what is going on? Tell me. So, yeah, thank you for responding it in that way. So, now the actual work that we do is basically mental health professionals are professionals who are trained in understanding how a human mind functions when kept in different situations, how and why of a dysfunctional lifestyle, how a person can go back to his healthy lifestyle, okay, and of course the emotional regulation, and mix of all this is a package which we call as a mental health professional.
All right. Very deep, because I think that there are so many diverse fields.
Yes.
In fact, every subject has different kind of subtopics that
Absolutely.
you have studied in over the years.
Yeah.
So please tell me, what is the difference between a therapist, a psychologist, and a psychiatrist?
Okay. So again, a very, very commonly misunderstood concept, I would say, Tanmay, because what happens is people don't understand who is a psychiatrist, who is a psychologist, and they still go back to age-old techniques of, going to a tantric, going to a baba or something of that sort. No offense to any tantric or baba here, but we are very.
It's a very new channel.
I'm so sorry. I'll try to keep my anguish inside me. Yeah. So what happens is, if I talk about psychology as a broad field, professionals are categorized under two broad categories. One are psychiatrists, who are basically MBBS doctors with MD in psychiatry, who would prescribe you medicines on the basis of symptoms and the dysfunction you're facing in your life. What sort of symptoms generally comes in the picture? We say sleeplessness, घबराहट हो रही है. People, especially in post-COVID era, is what we call this. There are many cases of depression where people are constantly having negative thoughts. When thoughts are not stopping, all these things, these are symptoms on the basis of which a psychiatrist would prescribe you medication. Now, when I come to psychologist is a person who is trained in very layman's term, talk therapy, where we try to understand an individual the kind of history an individual holds, the kind of patterns, existing patterns that individual has, and how actually we can alter those patterns with respect to his or her better functioning in his life.
All right. So depending on the condition, you will kind of make a schedule or some kind of exercise or something like that without any medication.
Yeah. It is, as I mentioned, it is talk therapy.
Talk therapy.
Yeah.
Okay. So which one among these, let's just say I want to take therapy, which professional I would go to and he would ask me to lay down on a couch and give me coffee or something like that?
No, coffee though anyone would do give actually. So what happens, Tanmay, is that of course that is still practiced. I would say it is an age-old practice by father of psychology Sigmund Freud, where free association was the term which was used, where the person was supposed to lie down on the couch and tell whatever is coming to his or her mind, and on the basis of that, and the therapist used to sit next to the couch so that free association, you are not conscious with because of. So in present scenario also, psychodynamic school of psychology still follows it. There are therapists who would do that. So psychodynamic therapy can actually use that.
Okay.
So basically it's a that's where as you were mentioning before this, Tanmay, that there are different subfields in any field. So a kind of psychologist who is trained in psychodynamic school, I would say, would still do that with you.
I see. So this is not just made up things which we see in the movie. This is an actual thing.
Yeah. It is historic thing, I would say, where actually it used to be done that way.
Okay.
Until now, it is about, when we talk about psychology, it is sharing of emotions, and it can be done best in the most comfortable position, is what I would say.
I see.
So the more the person is relaxed, the more the person is at ease, the more is the flow of emotions, I would say.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That is great. So could you please tell us that how can someone reduce their stress in their day-to-day life? Because everyone is stressed these days, whether it's a student who has to do his homework, or it's a professional doing a 9 to 6 job who has to travel to work. So how can someone just reduce their personal stress or professional stress on their own? Taking therapy is a very good thing, but not everyone can, because there's still a lot of stigma attached to it.
Absolutely.
Some people hesitate going to a therapist. So how can someone do it on their own? How to reduce stress?
Okay. So honestly, I would say there is no tailor-cut method, I would say, because psychology as a field is very individualistic. Your life experiences are different from my life experience. So what I suggest you, maybe, it would be effective for you, but not for someone who is viewing this because of their change in profession, change in upbringing, and so on and so forth. So the very first thing, the way you can reduce your stress, is to stop Googling your symptoms. The first and foremost thing I tell my clients, that you can only cope with these things if you stop Googling. It is so this generation is very handy, right? You get information at just like this. 0.17 seconds and information is with you on Google, right?
True that.
So what happens is, the moment you Google your symptoms, Google gives you a very generic, right now if I tell you to Google symptoms, that how to reduce stress, you will see maintain a routine, exercise regularly, sleep well, eat well, journal, 5 topics, 5 things.
Actually, I do all of these things.
But there's a but in between. What happens is that people don't realize the gravity of each and everything mentioned there, and where they are lacking in actually implementing those things. So if I say, a role of a psychologist is actually like a bridge who helps you. So information is all out there. It is there. You know what you have to do. But you are still struggling to actually implement in your life. If I ask you right now that if a person is struggling with, probably to get up in the morning at 6 o'clock, what all struggles that person would face? So if I ask you, Tanmay, you are into martial arts. So the first and foremost struggle of an individual, correct me if I'm wrong, is to establish a routine.
Absolutely.
And I'm sure with your profession also, the first thing that you as professional do is to learn how to make a routine, isn't it?
Yeah, the discipline is the first
Discipline,
thing.
exactly.
Yeah, so initially there was a rule that we have to reach the academy at 6 a.m., taking a cold shower. And even if we were late by 1 minute, we had to do 100 squats as a punishment, and then we would enter the academy.
Yeah.
So that way, everyone was scared of that punishment. Everyone was reaching at 5:55. Hardly anyone got late. So I completely agree with that routine thing and the discipline thing. So you have mentioned all the 5 things which I actually do.
Yeah.
So maybe I can say that all of these things are good habits. These are not something which can, provide me relief to a certain cause if it is existing in my mind.
See, I would add one more point. As I was saying that psychology, when we talk about psychologists, when we talk about counseling, therapy, it is very individualistic, Tanmay. Okay? And of course, these 5 things would definitely help you. But if you are an IT professional who is late awake till, probably 1 in the night, or probably you have international calls to make, will you be able to get up in the morning? It's humanly not possible.
True.
So finding the right balance in your life is what the mantra is, I would say.
Okay.
That where in your 24 hours, how you are able to, actually give a certain part of your life to exercise, to routine, to, probably writing a journal, probably going for a walk, probably, listening to music, whatever suits you the best. So basically, it's about maybe not fixate over a timetable is what I would say, because trust me, viewers, when children come to me, when adults even come to me, their first, when the moment we start our interventions, their first challenge is, हम timetable बना लेते follow नहीं होता. The first thing that will.
So following a timetable is in itself a big challenge.
Big challenge.
Yeah.
So instead of making a huge schedule for yourself, why don't we start small?
Yeah.
Why don't we just set a small goal? Here, I would also like to say one more thing, Tanmay. I'm sorry, you were saying something, I'm cutting you in between. But what happens is that this is a generation of quick fix.
Yes.
You understand what
they want quick solutions to every problem.
Every problem, wherein they are not understanding that if they are 25 years old, their pattern is also 25 years old. So it will take substantial amount of time for them to make that slightest of change of maybe getting up on time itself. And by the time they reach there, they definitely stop coming to the therapist.
So you just mentioned breaking the pattern.
Yeah.
So when exactly does this pattern is evolved in a human being? When he's a kid, or when he or she is a teenager, while they are growing up, external factors must also influence the thinking pattern. Especially in India, we all are very conscious about what will our family members say.
Yes.
And then comes the society pressure. So all of this definitely play a role in the thinking pattern. So how to break this pattern, and how to avoid getting into this pattern? How can an individual live the life of their own way? How do they choose themselves over all of these external pressures?
Yeah, I see what you're trying to ask here, Tanmay, but then again, the best method to do this is first identify your pattern, which is maladaptive in nature. Until and unless you don't realize that your problem's root cause is probably because you're not eating well, for example. So what is your first corrective measure would be? To eat well.
All right. Eat healthy or
Eat healthy, eat
okay.
well.
Okay.
Maybe. Okay. But as now, if I bring this similar kind of thing to a human's thinking, emotions, and behavior. So what an individual is able to notice is the behavior. Actual problem kahan hai? Thought mein. So sitting with yourself and understanding that this is the behavior which I am probably manifesting in front of people, but the root cause is somewhere in my thought. And that, path, again I would come back, comes from a very small step, which is, probably keeping your routine in order. I know I'm saying a very cliched thing, which probably, parents at our homes are saying, time pe utho, time pe khao, time pe so, sab theek ho jayega, but we are not listening to. You are into this, Tanmay, tell me, what does a circadian rhythm does? How much it impacts your mood, your emotions, everything. So the moment your balance is gone, the basic balance, where do you think you stand? So until and unless, so breaking the pattern is a long shot, I would say.
Okay.
Let's start small.
Let's start small by actually identifying that pattern.
Yes, let's accept that this is the pattern which is actually maladaptive for me.
Fair enough.
And I would also say that, people struggle the most in identifying that, maladaptive pattern. एक वो अहम आ जाता है, मैं तो गलत नहीं हूँ. I cannot do anything wrong.
Yes. So I think there's a very small line between ego and being very confident.
See, I would, it is about readiness, Tanmay. It is not even about ego. It is about readiness. If I'm willing to bring about change in myself, it will happen.
Okay.
I will automatically start taking steps. But again, when we talk about these heavy terminologies, anxiety, depression, panic attacks, because of all the neurological changes in your mind, in your brain, you are actually not able to take these steps. There comes the role of a psychologist who will help you bridge this gap. Where you are not able to do it yourself, they will show you ways in which you can actually do it.
Right. I understand what you are trying to say, and I hope everyone who's watching this would also agree with this thing. And there's also one more thing. Yeah. So let's just say I'm seeking therapy, and these days there are so many people on social media, and they are also giving a lot of suggestions. But at least on some platforms like LinkedIn, it's written, their qualifications are mentioned, their experience is mentioned. But on some of the social media sites, I'm not blaming anyone. I want to be Insta famous and things. But identifying a genuine therapist is also a little bit tricky.
Okay. So Tanmay, here first and foremost comes the awareness of the very fact that a therapist has to be RCI registered. Now, when you ask me what is RCI registration, just like the doctors get the registration to, a license to work, to practice. Similarly, a psychologist, a mental health professional also gets this registration from Rehabilitation Council of India, which permits them to work as a mental health professional. Now, what happens is that if I take traditional, age-old history here, पहले के ज़माने में बोला जाता था कि बाल काटने वाला नाई आपका सबसे बड़ा काउंसलर होता है. It started back then, where so I think Indians have taken it way too seriously. So they fall into every random thing which is relatable on the social media to a very serious value. Now, what happens is, what they are not realizing is that a person who is creating this content is probably not a psychologist, or probably so well established who has hired a psychologist.
Maybe.
And probably, no offense Instagram, but probably there is definitely an angle of psychology which keeps you, the doom scrolling part when we talk about it comes into the picture. Anyway, coming back to your question, how to identify? Definitely don't go with the blue tick, I would say. Also, again, digressing a little from the question, I would say the moment you are stressed, your body will start looking for answers why you are stressed. Please understand what I'm trying to say. When in the process of this, when we are trying to look for reasons why I'm stressed, how can I deal with it? How can I deal with it? What happens is that even a single line written on the social media, which is relatable to you, you will start connecting with it. And in the process, what you will do, you will start connecting to, and you know how the feed works, right? You will start seeing reels according to that.
Okay.
Now, it will maybe give you a very short-term impact, help.
Short-term solution.
Short-term, yeah. Okay. Momentarily, I was feeling really sad about my life. Even I watch motivational videos for that matter when I feel low. So for short-term and a small issue, I would say it can still help. But if you want to if you're really looking for a therapist, I would say contact that person, ask them what are their qualifications, whether they are registered with RCI or not.
Right.
So key to it is the awareness which people should have.
Okay, so basically one of the most important thing is if they are RCI registered, then we can
qualifications
definitely trust them.
And also, of course, the qualification. See, in a way, in service industry, you have all the rights to ask the professional what are your qualifications, how much is your experience.
Okay.
People would actually, in my private practice, they would call up and they will, ask that आप किन लोगों के साथ डील करते हैं, क्या आपने ऐसा केस पहले देखा? So you have this right to ask that whether whether they will be able to address your need or not. But if you are saying that you will find a content creator who is a therapist, that's number one, a rare chance. It happens. I have many psychologist friends who are content creators, but then their content is well reviewed, well researched, and everything.
Of course, it comes from experience.
Yes.
And that is to actually find a solution and not just to get likes
and views and everything.
Yeah. So, but finding those genuine people.
Yes, it's a task. It's a task, Tanmay, I would say. But if you look at their content, and if I always say, DM them, ask them directly.
Okay.
Why not?
So if I DM you or someone watching this interview DMs you, will you be offended if I ask you what are your qualifications?
So, if you directly ask me that, probably if a person who reaches out to me, and people do reach out to you that, I'm looking for a mental health professional, may I know? There's always a way.
Yeah.
There's always a way. If you directly message me, I just want to make sure that whether you are qualified enough or not. Of course, that not everyone will take it in a very good value.
Of course, yes. Yeah. So,
but Instagram is really not a place.
Let's just
social media is not the place to find a man. But what Tanmay, I would always suggest your viewers that whenever they are out there looking for therapist, LinkedIn, not trying to compare anything, but the moment they put it on Google with their city name, or probably, registered, they can directly go to RCI's website and, they can see registered individuals with them.
Okay, so on the website,
there they can find
registered professional who have a valid license.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Okay, so this information is very valuable. I will definitely put a link to this website so that it's easier for you to find out if just in case you want something.
Sure.
Okay, so I have one question.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about a number. Can you guess that number?
Oh, come on, Tanmay. Even after this, if you ask me.
Okay. So I want to know what is your personal practice? Because you are into so many things.
Yeah.
You teach school kids, you counsel them,
Yeah.
and then you're counseling some other organizations as well,
Absolutely.
like
I'm associated with Indian Army, I'm associated with Indian Air Force, I'm associated with various organizations as a counselor.
Exactly.
Is what I would say. Yeah.
And you are also pursuing a PhD.
Yeah.
And you also have Providence, your
Yes.
own clinic.
My clinic, yes.
So how do you manage all this? Because doing 4 or 5 things, it's and managing all them, going round and round about it.
Yeah.
What are your practices?
So honestly, Tanmay, first of all, thank you for asking this, because generally people don't ask a psychologist,
Okay.
how do you manage? Because what people forget is that we are also human beings at the end of the day. But yes, to be very honest with you, these days you will hear terms like, mindfulness and, meditation and everything, things like that. And I tried. Let me be very honest with you. I tried meditation, but as I was saying, the consistency part, the discipline part is something that I could not develop because of scarcity of time, because of, too many projects.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So, you want to say something?
No. Please continue.
So, then, of course, talking with different kind of clients is also emotionally very taxing for a mental health professional. You cannot, after a point of time, actually draw that line of, not getting affected by it. So I thought that I would curate my own meditation. So my meditation is, going on a walk, going on long walks with my music on and with my pet, which helps me actually put my thoughts in place, which helps me unwind, which helps me, deal with other things more effectively. If not walking, if I'm not finding time to actually go for a walk or something of that sort, then I would prefer reading, over this, or probably writing a couple of things about what exactly is happening. So, as I was telling you, Tanmay, it basically narrows down to two things, where you are in a position of compartmentalizing your own thoughts and emotions, that this is my work, this is my family, these are my friends, and also distracting your mind constructively.
Okay.
And adding to this, I would again repeat my point where I said that if you are trying to do this and you are not able to do it on your own, that is probably the biggest indication for you that you need a mental health professional in your life.
I see.
Because see, normally when we try to do things, for example, me, if I tried doing something, as I mentioned, meditation is something which I tried, which probably at that point of time did not work out for me. But I was in a position to think of an alternative option. That shows that yes, my mind is not overwhelmed by my thoughts and by my emotions, that it is altering my thinking process, my decision making process. So I could think of it. People in general who are emotionally overwhelmed are not able to take these kind of decisions for themselves. And hence a mental health professional comes into the picture.
I see.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you say that you cannot meditate, what exactly did you mean? Could you just elaborate a little
Absolutely.
bit on that?
In fact, when I was driving to your place, I was thinking that today I would ask Tanmay that how did he become such a master. And I see your content on social media as well, where you are actually doing so many things, but I am even not able to start with the bare minimum, which is meditation, that I would say.
See, what I personally believe is that whatever you believe in, you definitely go into that.
Yeah.
And I was 11 years old when I went to the ashram and when I learned about meditation. So 11 years is a very young age to get adapted to anything.
Yeah.
You learn, if you want to learn martial arts, if you want to learn swimming, 10, 11 years is a very good age. So I understood that there is something which has to be done. When I became an adult, at that point of time, I got reunited with yoga.
Yeah.
And in my martial arts journey also, there was a lot of meditation involved. So I just started with small things, and then with Sadhguru, there's a course known as Inner Engineering. I did that. And for the past 300 days, more than 300 days, I have not missed a single day of meditation. The first thing I do when I get up is I do Shambhavi Kriya, which is what they teach in Inner Engineering. I learned this 2 years ago. It took me some time to get regular and make it a part of my life, but now I cannot live. It's because I believed in that. You come from a science background. I think this is why it will be a little bit difficult, or it will take some time for you to get adjusted to that.
I just contradicted my own point where I was talking about consistency and discipline. Probably I did it for 2 days and I left it and I did not understand the value of, so it's an insightful session for me as well, that probably I need to take it ahead from there.
Yes. Just like you said that in today's world, everyone is looking for quick solution. Sometimes we all are looking for something which is known as instant gratification. That is a very popular word, right? You heard it on a reel, right? Isn't it? Tell me honestly. I do not remember where I heard that, but yes,
I totally agree with you. Absolutely. So, adding a little more psychology perspective to it, Tanmay, what happens is, as you very rightly mentioned, that instant gratification is what we are looking forward to. And as we were talking about the social media, so it provides you that instant gratification and it does not help you long term.
Exactly. One more thing I wanted to ask you, but already it has been a very lengthy discussion.
Yeah, you talk a lot.
I also wanted to ask you about a lot of hormones which are being highlighted, like dopamine levels and serotonin, and hugging someone increases this. Yes. All of these things are very nice things.
Yes.
But I want to talk to you in detail about all of these things and with much more depth.
Okay, so I'm assuming that it is not going to be covered in this episode and episodes coming in future, because it is a topic in itself. Because these days I have children coming to me talking about dopamine detox, that how can I deal with it? Should I just keep my mobile aside? Which, to be very frankly, they're not able to do. So how to actually understand the good dopamine and the bad dopamine and how to actually implement in your life is, I think, talk for some time else.
Yeah, of course, yes. I also want to add to my meditation journey and that how I did it, because I did 10-day silent meditation twice.
Okay.
So after that, I was like, now I can meditate anytime, anywhere. So this is also one thing I have to ask you, what actually pushed me, because I also want to know about myself. So who is better than you to tell me about some particular things which might have triggered my journey. So let's have a detailed discussion on that.
Absolutely.
And
absolutely.
Thank you so much for coming to the show and guiding us with your wisdom.
Yeah.
And I have one more thing to ask you.
Surely, not a problem at all.
Would you like to learn some bow staff moves, as you are already here and my academy is just upstairs?
I would have loved to, but I'm not. I did not get my gym clothes or something in a sari. I don't think it's a...
It is possible. I'll tell you the most basic thing. Anyone and it can be done anywhere.
Okay, let's try it.
Right. Okay, see you guys. एक बार left, एक बार right. और ये पीछे यहाँ पे आके जब ये यहाँ आएगा बाजू में, अब इसको रिस्ट को टर्न करना, रिस्ट को. Yes, that's how you do it. Very good. Right, so let's go here. Let's give it a okay. Guys, I've made a full online course on bow staff, which is known as Bow Staff Masterclass. In this course, you will be able to learn about strikes, throws and catches, flows, contact staff, etc. You can enroll in this course by visiting the website www.blackbeltyogis.com. Also, this is my first YouTube channel, so I request you to consider subscribing to my channel. The course is designed in such a way that both of your hands become equally strong and equally skilled. Skills like throws and catches improve your coordination and reflexes. Some of the skills require your full attention and awareness, hence learning about some bow staff skills increases your concentration level. Upon completion of the course, you will be able to make your own strikes and combos and even start teaching. Bow staff skills are fun and it also looks so cool. So what are you waiting for? Be a part of an active community now. I request you to support my channel by liking, sharing and subscribing. Thank you.